All right, so I was asked a question about the Deepmind synthesizer and how you can create a shimmer effect. So I thought I'd just put together this quick video to go over shimmer effects with the Deepmind. So here I have a patch, it's just a basic pad patch, and let me just bypass effects for a second so you can hear it dry. So yeah, nothing special there, just a sort of standard pad type of sound. And what I'll do here is I'll turn on the insert on this effects loop here and show you what the shimmer sounds like. So as you can hear there, there's that upper harmonic rising shimmering sound that's created by this effects routing. So shimmer is a very popular effect. It's a great effect to add to both guitars and to synthesizers. I have several other synthesizers where I have dedicated outboard effects just for adding shimmer or reverb to synthesizers. But with the DeepMind, since it has such a highly capable and flexible effects system built in, you can just do the shimmer directly within your patch. So this is the general setup for a shimmer effect. There's the keys here are there's two different effects routings you can use. So either number 9 or routing number 10 are the ones you're going to want to use for this. And the reason why these ones work is because they have a feedback loop inside of them where the signal's coming through and then feedbacking on itself. So the first thing to look at here is just the this signal here going straight through. So the incoming dry signal goes into block number 4, which is this delay reverb, and then it does go directly out to the output here. So just paying attention to number 4 here, you'll notice I have the mix set at 50% here. So I'm always getting the 50% dry signal going from the input to the output. So you can always hear the dry signal of the pad. Okay, so this effects routing and the number 9, as you see here, is after the signal comes through this delay reverb effect once, it gets shot up here and goes up through this loop here, and it goes through blocks number 1, 2, and 3, and then it gets spit back out before block number 4. And this is an infinite loop here. So what happens is the signal just continually goes 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, and looping through this feedback loop right here. And the key to a shimmer effect is that you want to have this feedback loop, and in the loop you want to do two things. First of all, you want to use a pitch shifter device. So the DeepMind has the built-in dual pitch effect, which is perfect for this. So here you see I have both of these set to plus 12, which is 1 octave up, and I'm just offsetting the delays on these so they create a sort of staggered effect of this pitch shifting upward. So one of them is delayed just 12 milliseconds, the other one's 41 milliseconds, and you can play with these amounts to get the effect that you want. The gain is full on both of these, and I just have a little bit of panning. And you'll notice the mix is 100% on this and on the following block number 2, the chorus reverb, the mix is 100%. So everything we do up in this feedback loop, we want to be fully wet or completely mixed. And we don't want the dry signal to feedback on itself because that would just create too much mud in the signal. So we have basically this octave up, so it goes up an octave every time it goes around. So every time it loops here, it's going up an octave and then up an octave again and again and again. And the second block here, this block is the one that diffuses the upper octave basically. So you can use any sort of reverb in this position. In this case, I'm just using that chorus reverb effect here, and for this one, I'm using the delay reverb. You can switch these up, and you'll get different variants of shimmer effects depending on which choices you make here. You can use any of the different reverbs and even some other effects for unique effects. But the purpose of this second block is really just to diffuse this pitch shift up here. And so it blurs the signal a lot here since it's 100% wet. I have it decayed by a pretty long time here, by almost 2.5 seconds, and a large size for the reverb. So it gets a really diffused effect. And so every time it loops back around, it's feeding back into itself and just continually raising that octave up and up and up every time. And that's what creates that shimmery, high octave effect that this effect is known for. Some of the other things you can do here to tame the sound is you can bring down the dampening on this, which will prevent it from getting too glassy high. In this case, I have it around 8K or so, which still allows some really high frequency content, but just keeps it from getting out of hand. Also, you might want to bring up the low cut just to prevent any sort of really low frequencies from getting replicated in here. In this case too, I have some chorusing going on, and again, these effects you can alter these to your heart's content to change the effect around. The last thing to note about this top feedback loop is that it goes through these, it diffuses here, and this gain right here, although it doesn't seem like it may do anything, this actually does control the level from here back into the loop. So this is sort of the master volume for this whole shimmer effect. And in fact, what I've done is that in the patch here, I've set the mod wheel here to control FX level 3. So what I've done here is I'll set this at a sort of baseline for just a good shimmer effect. The mod wheel here to swing this up temporarily and increase the shimmer effect whenever I want it to be more intense. So yeah, you just have to watch the levels on these. If you pump the gain all the way up on these two, you'll get a lot of too much high frequency content and too much feedbacking going on, and it won't sound very good. But yeah, you can play with these two gain amounts to adjust the total amount of shimmer that's added back in. And then again, as I mentioned, you can adjust these reverbs here. So instead of a delay reverb, you could choose something else, a plate reverb or something. And then here, I don't know, I'll choose a flanger reverb, for instance. You just want to make sure that in the loop, everything is completely wet. So this is with a flanger reverb in the feedback loop. Adjust the speed of the flanger. So yeah, there's endless variants you can do just depending on what kind of effects you place in these number 2 and number 4 slots here. In addition, with the pitch shifter, you can do variants on this too. So right here I have 2 octave up effects going on here. You could set one of these, say, to a 7 semitones, which would be a perfect fifth. When you set these to other intervals like a perfect fifth or a perfect fourth would be a 5 semitones, you'll get more dissonance if you're playing more complex chords, but it can create some really interesting textures. In addition, one other thing you could try doing is actually pulling it down an octave, which creates a sort of reverse shimmer effect where you're dropping the octave. That's sort of an odd effect there. Anyway, that sort of just gives an overview of the Shimmer capabilities within the DeepMind. Again, if you use the slot number 9, you can do the same sort of thing. This one also has this feedback loop here where it's going, after it goes through 4, it feeds back up through 1 and 2, and then back to 4, and it isolates a separate block in the beginning here, number 3, which would just be like an input effect before the Shimmer loop. So you could do something here like add a chorus in or something that you just want the chorus to be run once and then everything else to be feedback through like that. So yeah, as you can see there, there's a ton of variants. You can play around creating some cool shimmer type effects like this. Anyway, that just gives an overview and sort of answers that question. If you have any other questions about shimmer effects or using the DeepMind and some of the more advanced stuff in the mod matrix, feel free to ask a question below. And yeah, subscribe to this channel if you want to see other sound design tutorials. I have stuff for the DeepMind, the Prophet Rev 2, the Pro 3 synthesizer, and some other synths as well. All right, have a good one. Bye.